celebrity. Come on,
Sir,
Katt.
I'm not talking.
Katt.
I didn't mean that disparagingly.
Yeah.
I meant that in ticket sales, my nigga. Ticket sales. That's what I meant. I mean, I'm doing 7,000 in your hometown while you go do 300. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm talking statistics.
What's up with the gang? It's your boy Josh. Back on the video, man. Today we got Katt Williams again. This time he on Willie. Who that is?
That's Willie D.
Willie D Live.
You don't know. Okay, whoa.
I'm looking at him. He look like an ex NFL player. Is he?
No.
Oh,
Hold on.
boxing.
Willie D. You know who he is. You just don't know that you know who he is. You ever heard the song "My Mind Is Playing Tricks on Me"?
No. Yeah, that's not for me. Yeah, that's not for me.
That's the Ghetto Boys. Willie D, Scarface, and Bushwick Bill. Bushwick Bill was a midget or dwarf.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody's seen the viral Katt Williams interview. So we did 2 parts. We're gonna do this whole thing. It's just an hour. We can knock it out. All right. Follow on Instagram. $1 raffle for a gaming PC this Friday. You can still enter. Let's get straight to it, gang. How you feel about everything that's going on with the Katt Williams? I'm pretty sure you've been seeing it on Facebook and all that. Like just everything going on.
Well, I don't feel any different than what I did. I still think, even after that first video, I think Katt speaks from Katt's perspective. I'm not saying that he's incorrect or anything. His experience is his experience. It's funny how people are attacking those that he attacked. Because he's jumped in and he snatched the mantle, and he spilled a lot of tea on a whole lot of folk. The thing is that everybody's perspective is not always the same, and so just because somebody may have experienced a thing differently than him doesn't mean that they're a liar or that he's a liar. I'm just tripping off of people jumping on a bandwagon talking about certain people that they'd always rock with because of something that Katt had said. It's like, are you snatched away that easily and that quickly?
But it's like after you see, I think he was telling the truth based on this.
I think he was telling the truth from his perspective, from how he sees it. But obviously there's other folk who disagree with it. But at the same time, it's entertainment, and that's the danger in it. Because it's entertainment for us. It's real life for the comedians and those that are involved in it. And the thing about it, they don't play about their stuff, and it's just it can go wrong real quick.
His shows finna sell out.
His shows were already selling out.
I know, but like it's no question.
They were
now.
already selling. It wasn't a question before. The thing about it is that those that had already rocked with Katt Williams was gonna rock with him anyways because he's just that dope of a comedian. Mm-hmm. What he's done though is that he has shifted into another level because now it's people who didn't necessarily listen to him before that's going to listen to him now based on what they saw from the interview. But yeah, I'm with it.
All right, let's get straight to it, gang.
My thing is that what in the world is he going to say that he hadn't said already?
Willie D Live.
It's Willie D, y'all, back with another episode of information and instructions to help you navigate through this wild, crazy, beautiful world. In the studio, Katt Williams. What's up, King?
How are you, sir?
Oh, man, one more hop, I'll be on top. How
Prepare
about you?
for your hop. Doing
Yeah.
great. Doing great.
Yeah, you're doing great, man. Cleveland, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio.
But when you, my bad. You were born in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I was
and
born
then
in
you were
Cincinnati.
raised in Dayton.
And raised in Dayton, correct.
Man, we had a show in Dayton once, and it almost like provoked a full-blown riot. In Dayton, they had these cops with these big old 10-gallon hats.
They did.
Big old white cornbread-fed dudes, and they were telling us, y'all gonna either pay for all of this equipment that y'all destroyed on the stage. We destroyed, allegedly, equipment, band equipment that belonged to After 7 and Troop.
Oh my.
We were on the same
Got
ticket
it. Yeah.
as After 7 and Troop. We destroyed their equipment. Allegedly. And they told us, y'all gonna pay for this stuff or y'all going to jail. And so we basically just did the show for free because we gave all that money back. But Dayton that's will forever be like embedded in my memory, Dayton, Ohio, for that reason. But
I'm sorry that you had a bad memory.
But what are some good memories that you have from Dayton?
Part of what you remember is a part of Dayton. So Dayton was one of the rare cities in America that was legitimately half black and half white. So there was power on both ends. I came from a very powerful family in Dayton just because of our sheer numbers. So there were 13 on my father's side and 7 on my mother's side. So I had like 100 first cousins in one city. Like, we just had a large family, and it was a great place for black people, and it was a great place for white people. It's just that you really couldn't be legitimately racist because your neighbors were of another color. If that makes sense.
What's the power dynamic? Was it mostly white people running it or black people?
Well, that's the dynamic of America at that particular time.
How come I see don't rock like
one of my uncles was the chief of police. Another was the head pastor in town, and had some cocaine dealing uncles as well. So we were really rooted in the city, but it was a city of money. So we had Cooper Tires, we had Dayton Tires, we had IBM, we had NCR, we had Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, we had University of Dayton. These are all places where you can make 6 figures even at that time. So it was a lot of money there. As far as on the radio, we would hear every hour 5 or 6 artists that were from where we were from. So we thought that was a part of it. We hearing the Ohio Players, and Roger Troutman in Zap's studio is our bus stop when we're 7 years old. Like, so
Zap is just
I met Prince while I was in Dayton when I'm 12. Like, it was a very vibrant community for black people.
So you saw a lot of the street stuff. How did you end up? First of all, did you end up doing any of the street stuff, participating in any of that street activity? You mentioned your uncles selling drugs and all of that.
Well, I leave Dayton, Ohio, right before I'm 13. So I'm still at a young age. I'm just having heightened experiences because of my childhood and my background. So, I've always had money, but I don't come from money. So I was able to cut grass in the summer, and I was able to shovel snow in the winter. That's what I was allowed to do. So, but consequently, even as a kid, I'm making like $6,000-$7,000 a year. And this is...
At 12 years old?
Before that, at 10. At 10.
10 is
just,
crazy.
Well, see, that's when you
just
go to
because
work.
that's what I was allowed to do.
Money,
and
right?
I'm a hustler by nature. Like, if I get a hold of a lick, I want to see how many times it flips, not if it flips. You know what I mean? So once I'm gone from there, I'm trying my hand at other things, door to door, and I had already made $1 million before I was 18 doing door to door across the country. So I had already tested out what were the positive things about me and how I could use that to my advantage economically from an early age.
Is it true that you emancipated yourself from your parents at 13? Because I read that somewhere. I
Well,
think it was Wikipedia said something like that.
I wouldn't shame the family. What I would say is that it can't be called run away because I didn't run away. I left, but I don't tell that part of the story just because there's a zero chance that if a young person listens to me and follows my example on that they'll be okay. But I knew I would be, but I was a little off. Like I knew Jesus left home at 13, so I didn't feel like I was.
That's real? I didn't know that. I promise you I
Okay,
did.
whoa. Jesus did not leave his home at 13. He didn't. You see Jesus from as infant, then you see him show up at 12. Then he steps on the scene at 30. So him running away. Now Jewish boys were considered men at the age of 12. So at 12 or 13, what you find is that they had something called bar mitzvahs. And then basically the announcement of from being a boy into a man. When Jesus was 12, he went up with his parents to Jerusalem after the feast of the Passover. So it's not the same. If you it's not the same. So he didn't run
Out
away.
of pocket in any way.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that at 13 years old you was cognizant of the story of Jesus leaving home at 13 years old?
I had been accepted to college before I was 12, so I was already a little bit more advanced than
A little bit.
your average child. I had
That what?
probably read 10,000 books at that period in my life.
10,000 books.
So I was blessed
That's a lot.
in that way.
That's a lot.
But as you know, you can't really just live on that. So God navigated where I was able to see the underworld, if you will. So I go from my parents' house in Ohio to Miami, Florida by myself. I don't know nobody. And that's where the story begins. But
In your formidable years, who is that person? Was there a single individual who inspired you, or some guy or a person that you looked up to and you said, I like the way that they move and I want to model myself after that person?
yeah, this is going to be a weird answer. Yes, that's one of the things that I was probably the best at. I did it with anybody and everybody. So when I was going to the library, I wasn't reading fiction books. I was reading nonfiction books, and it didn't matter what it was. I know whatever's in this book, I don't know what it is. So I might have read like 1,000 autobiographies, just the life of people that I don't know. And when you do that, you find out that if you were trying to learn something from everybody, you could actually learn something from every single person that you met. And so it's that type of thinking.
But see, okay, now, okay, what he just said, very, very profound and very important. He said he can learn that you can learn something from everybody that you come into contact with. Okay. Do you hear anything about his mindset?
Like what you mean?
Okay, you may not be familiar with it, but there is something called a growth mindset and a fixed mindset.
Yeah, I know the difference.
Okay, he has a growth mindset.
Mm-hmm. He's coachable.
He's coachable.
Yeah.
He's willing to work and he's willing to learn. Those are the markings of a growth mindset. Some people think that you either smart or you're not. You have skills or you don't. Those people have a fixed mindset. He's saying you don't get better because you have it all together already. You get better because you're willing to learn. That's the difference between a fixed and a growth mindset.
Mm-hmm.
If you can do anything in life, adopt, by and large, a growth mindset. All of us have some fixes and some growth, but adopt a growth mindset and you will amaze your own self at the things that you're able to accomplish.
And that helped me avoid the pitfalls as I saw them. So the reason I never did drugs when I was an adult is because when I left and went to Miami and I'm living in a park, it's 30 people out there from all different places, and they all are homeless and in a terrible situation just like me. And they telling me that they used to be lawyers and doctors and nurses, and I'm going, well, what happened? And all of them is telling this story where everything in their life was fine, and then they dealt with this drug, and this is where it ended them out. So as a kid, I never saw the fun part of drugs. I never heard about nobody having a good time on drugs or, oh, you got to take this so you can feel it. I didn't see it from that way. I had already seen what it would do to people. And they're telling me, like, I'm letting people tell me, hey, don't do this. Don't get to Hollywood and start sleeping with white women and doing cocaine because it'll kill you. Oh, yeah, no problem. Got it. So, in a lot of things, I was just stupid enough to get the lessons, but that came from being willing to learn something from everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long were you
Sidebar, be kind to everybody because you never know what a person is going through either.
on the streets?
Well, it sounds so harsh when you say on the streets. Just understand that I'm in slacks and a shirt and a tie every day, and I'm eating at a 5-star restaurant because I done worked this deal with the restaurant where I come in at 5 in the morning and I come and do the floors and clean up everything the bus people didn't do, knock out the old dishes. I do all of that, but I get to eat there for free. So I come later and have a 5-star lunch as a 12-year-old because I'm already smoking cigarettes, but I got a mustache, so I don't look out of place. And then I go and I do my 8 hours in the library to take the place of what schooling would have been. Wow. So 2 hours were spent collecting radios from people's cars at the marina, which funded me to at least have $700 or $800 a week in my pocket. So that was the situation for, I'll say, 12 months.
Did you catch that?
Yeah.
What did he just say?
About how I used to bust his A word, basically.
Yo, did you hear what he just said about the radios?
Hold on.
Oh.
It's like every time you say that, like, did you hear that? It just go blank.
Okay, I want you to rewind that so you can hear what he said.
I got a mustache, so I don't look out of place. And then I go and I do my 8 hours in the library to take the place of what schooling would have been. So 2 hours were spent collecting radios from people's cars at the marina, which funded me to at least have $700 or $800 a week in my pocket. So that was the situation for, I'll say, 12 months.
Mm-hmm. Do you understand what he said? What did he just say?
Hold on.
Boy.
$700 or $800 collecting radios. So, 2 hours were spent collecting radios from people's cars at the marina.
Yeah, he was working.
No, he was working.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
But okay, what was his job?
collecting radios.
Where do you collect radios?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
He was stealing.
Oh.
God, dog. He breaking into people's cars. He said he collecting radios. Don't nobody collect radios from people's cars.
Back then, y'all had all type of jobs.
I ain't never had a job collecting
y'all
radios.
Used to do all types that I've never heard of.
Yeah, I ain't never heard nobody collecting radios. Oh. That's like somebody being a street pharmaceutical salesman.
Would have been. So 2 hours were spent collecting radios from people's cars at the marina, which funded me to at least have
at the arena
$700 or $800 a week in my pocket. So
that
was the situation for I'll say 12 months.
He described that as his job.
Was there somebody who came along, a social worker or something like that, and saw you and said, yo, or talked to you, it's like, yo, I can help you out, or you should do this or that?
No, you're looking at it a different way than I was looking at it. I wasn't in a pitiable situation by any means. I was free. And
mindset.
It was an adventure that I was on. And I had already read all of these books. I know how this goes. I know that a terribly scary adventure is nothing for the warrior. He doesn't need to be in a good position. There is a God, and he's going to see you through. You just have to make sure that you're hitting the marks to qualify for the blessing. So I was never in a situation.
Mindset, yeah, dog. He's a savant.
That I needed some assistance.
Where were you sleeping at?
Did you know he was like this well educated before these interviews, or that he was like this before these interviews? Basically,
I've always known him. He has always come across to me as an intelligent, as a very, very sharp and intelligent individual.
Why or when? Why really?
Because good comedians now are some of the most sharpest cats that you'll ever run into. Mm-hmm. Most good comedy comes out of a very, very dark place. What happens is that for them, they figure out a way to tell their story, these horrid stories, but they're able to tell them in such a way that the common person can hear it and they relate to it through the mode of comedy. You don't get to that point where you can be a good storyteller. You don't get to that point where you can express intimate feelings. You do not come to a place in life whereby the worst can be told and it be effective unless you are intelligent. Katt Williams, that rascal is brilliant. So he's always struck me as that. Not all comedians are sharp, smart, and brilliant and all that. Katt happens to be one of them, but he's always struck me as that. It's like when you sit, you listen to him talk, he'll say stuff that just blows you up out the water. On the last one, he said that there are poor people that are out there. They just happen to have a lot of money. And that's so dope. You don't. But he spits that naturally. That doesn't just happen. You have to go through some stuff. You have to have learned some things to be able to say that, and for it to be true without having to rehearse it or study it. Nah, he's Katt's different.
In the park that I told you about, across the street from the library in Coconut Grove.
Like on the ground, on the bench?
No, they had a mattress out there. I had money, so people would get you stuff.
Why didn't you just take your money and go get a crib?
Why?
At 13? Yeah. It never crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Never crossed my mind.
Because I really do. I know
Because his mindset is different.
He's young, but I do know people who are very young. If somebody is young enough to go out on the streets and just say, I'm leaving home.
Yeah.
A lot of times, and if they got money, they're savvy enough to
It's not
get
that I
somebody
have
to
money.
pay them.
I'm making some money. I don't have money. I'm making some money.
Enough to get by.
Well, I'm saying I don't have a long list of needs on the daily. I need to eat well. I need to drink well.
And where are you keeping your money? Like in your pocket?
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Anybody ever try to rob you?
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Hold on, I'm gonna hear this.
No, I did have somebody
Try to beat him out
try
of his
to
stuff. Slick him out.
violate me while I was out there. I think because I didn't know really what gay people were, so I wasn't really clear. I knew how gay people acted as I had
Did you ever see that video of him fighting that kid?
Yeah.
seen,
That didn't go
but
well.
I wasn't aware that it had a sexual connotation to it. So,
Not for Katt.
as soon as the guy kept talking to me like he liked me, I was really confused because guys don't like guys. And I'm trying to figure out, is there something about your background that makes you talk like a lady while you're talking to me? But yeah, I had that as a situation. But other than that, no, I wasn't frequently tried as a young person.
Yeah. So I'm asking some of these questions that I'm asking because I'm really trying to figure out, like, how did you develop your psyche? Like, you're a very insightful dude.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Just trying to figure out, like where did that start?
I can tell you, it's his mindset.
I know, but like, where did it come from? Why did he have his mindset?
Okay, it probably happened.
But I know that he can tell.
Right? But I'm just guessing, hypothesizing that it happened before he left home. That's what gave him the mindset to say, "Hey, it ain't no big deal for me to leave at this time," because that's not a regular thought. Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
I know. Like for me, and I'm not saying I'm nowhere near his level like that, but I know for me, I got in trouble a lot, and my daddy would always send me upstairs. Well, when I went upstairs, we had World Book encyclopedias, we had children's living encyclopedia. There was just back then you had door-to-door salesmen. These cats would come through. They would sell dictionaries. They would sell encyclopedias. Well, my grandmother had actually bought a set of them children's World Book encyclopedias. And I'm so glad she did. What I would do when I would get in trouble, I'd go upstairs and I would just open up the books and I would just start reading it. And I found the information fascinating. I wasn't a great student, but I learned a lot. And those things that I learned then, because I was so moldable, those things changed how I see things even now. I'm still throw it off, but throw it off with a lot of facts.
You know, my mom said how I used to when I was young, I tried to sell candy, the shoe shiner business.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That came from God. I promise you.
I believe it.
I
All of it did, but I'm saying. There was something about you that made you start doing that stuff. There's something about you.
I think I was blessed with that mindset, like that go getter hustle,
and it pays off. I know when you were coming up, one of the things that tripped me out was that it would get on my nerves, but I tried to cultivate it because I knew it was a positive. But you would put if you got an idea in your mind, you would push and push and push and push and push and try to figure out ways to do it. Even though I'm like, Josh, sit down, Josh, stop. You would still figure out a way to continue to push the boundaries. And I'm like, dude. So when you started hitting points when you were older, I didn't mind letting you run with whatever. As long as you were knocking nobody upside the head, I was with it. That's why I support you with this.
Here right now.
Yeah,
that's why we're here.
I agree. I agree.
Can you pinpoint a specific time and space where you said, You know, yeah.
No, you're here. I'm just your daddy
I
watching.
get it. I see what's going on.
I'm saying weird. All right, we.
Yeah. Probably like 5 years old. First and foremost, this is going to sound really, really weird, but I believed at that young age that you could have a relationship with God. And I know that that's kind of old-fashioned now. But when I was young, that's what I believed. And so I developed this relationship where we talk 4 or 5 times a day and we talk about everything, and I'm coming to you when things are well and when it's not well. And if I ask for something, I know when you gave me what I asked for because it's the only time. So I understood at a young age that I wasn't like everybody else, that I was in a blessed position, and that I had the ability to be able to make things happen if I could find the instructions and follow them. So at 5 years old, that's how I thought. I knew when things were wrong with the Bible. I wasn't worried about authority because God was like the authority. And other than that, I got to tolerate you, but I'm not allowed to bow down. I'm like that as a child. So my parents didn't do anything wrong. They just wanted me to live a life that I wasn't going to live. They wanted me to be this, and I was not free to live a double life. I can't be that and be what I'm trying to be.
What was that they wanted you to be?
A part of their religion. They were very devout in religion.
Christian.
Yes, a branch of Christianity, yes.
At one point, did you become a Muslim?
At one point, I became several religions because that's the only way you can really find out what's going on in a religion. Religion is not something that you can just study the books about it and now you know about them. I had to be a member of the Fruit of Islam in order to know. Minister Farrakhan calls me his son. I was not regular even in that endeavor, just because whoever the true God is, I don't play about him. And I understand that regardless of what you choose to call him, it's the same entity. And once you study all of the religions, you find out that nobody's really disagreeing with anybody. The Jews don't believe this whole set of things that Christians don't, and Muslims either.
Why are people so afraid of Farrakhan?
Well, if you had the ability to control the black people on this planet, there isn't anything that you couldn't take, dismantle, destroy, or interrupt if you could mobilize black people. And so part of the ops agenda, a part of their modus operandi, is to find out which one of you niggas is a potential leader. And if you are, then we begin a work of progress on your life, which will make people get off of that. It's a part of it, as much as in any defense, you trying to figure out which way this dude is likely to go so I can rip that ball. It's the same.
Yeah. Farrakhan is a polarizing individual. A lot of people really, I do believe, don't really understand him. I think that there are people who gets the message. This is what frightens them, is because they know, as you alluded to, they know what he's capable of doing. You know, uniting black people and guiding and leading black people in the right way.
There's not been a.
Is this the dude who was with Malcolm X?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Muhammad Ali.
Somewhat. Malcolm X had more influence with Muhammad Ali than Farrakhan did, but Farrakhan was like Malcolm X's teacher, if you will.
He's still alive?
Yeah, Farrakhan. Yeah, Farrakhan is one of these cats that a lot of and Willie D. He asked the question the right way. Why are people so afraid of Farrakhan? Farrakhan was he's one who is able to pull together peoples who other folk can't do. He has respect of many people.
Okay, so I'm tripping. I thought Elijah Muhammad and Farrakhan were the same people.
No, they're not. Elijah Muhammad was the leader. He was Malcolm X's teacher. Malcolm was Farrakhan's teacher. Malcolm was also Muhammad Ali's teacher, but Muhammad Ali, it was more convenient for him to follow after Elijah Muhammad than it was to Malcolm, because Malcolm was looked upon as an enemy at some point by those within the Nation of Islam.
But Muhammad and Farrakhan, they both was the Nation of Islam, right?
Yes. Muhammad Ali is part of the Nation of Islam. Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad,
Yeah.
Elijah
Muhammad started it.
No.
Who started it?
Well, okay.
See, I'm not into. Please excuse me, because I know how y'all be in these comments. I'm not into all that.
Okay.
Stuff.
Okay.
I'm just want to know.
Yes and no. You can argue it in a couple different ways. There's a prophet called Muhammad who is credited with starting the religion of Islam. When it comes to Islam, you basically have four dominant groups or four dominant sects or divisions of Islam. You have Sufi, Sunni, Shiite, and Ahmadiyya. Those four groups have specific characteristics concerning them, but they're all with Islam, if you will. And the Nation of Islam is actually, and I'm dumbing it down way, but the Nation of Islam is the black man's response for Islam, because there were certain beliefs that black people couldn't be part of Islam, and so the Nation of Islam is born out of that whole movement. Elijah Poole was the teacher for Elijah Muhammad. Elijah, what are you grinning for?
This is crazy how you know all this.
them World Book encyclopedias. Well, cut that, because I mean, you'll have a whole lot of debate and a whole lot of folk fussing and carrying on.
You don't want to keep that in there?
It can stay in there, but I don't want to turn this into just that. Matter of fact, that's him. That's him right there, Elijah Poole, if you will. And so with him, he's half white, and so the argument for people who are who have issue with the Nation of Islam, since the Nation of Islam considered white people to be devils, the point is that their leader was a half devil. And so you have a whole lot of arguments and a whole lot of ugly stuff that's born out of that whole thing as well. But at the end of the day, Katt's onto something when he points out the fact that whoever and however you call him, there's really not a whole lot of differences between what people are pushing and saying. Mm-hmm. You have the Nation of Islam, or you have Islam. They have their religious book is called the Quran. Dog. Now, and when it comes to the Quran, though, depending upon what side you fall on, you have different types of Qurans. You have a what's called a Pickthall. You have a Yusuf Ali version, and Qurans read from they read unconventionally. They read from right to left, or from to back. And so there's a whole lot of religions that are actually out there. At the end of the day, you have to decide, and this is my opinion. You have to decide on whether or not you're going to follow whoever you believe God to be and rock with him. I just happen to believe that when it comes down to God and who he is, he sent his representative. He sent himself in the form of someone, and that's who I rock with now. There's a whole lot of beliefs that I have about it, but at the end of the day, I just believe that God is it, and that's who I rock with. So I didn't mean that was a whole lot. I mean, sorry for that commercial break. That was a teaching lesson, I guess. Wait, I missed what you said.
For one of those yet.
You were saying that.
Leading black people and guiding and leading black people in the right way.
There's not been a successful one of those yet. So just like if you're a rapper, any rapper can get hit. Yeah, we don't have we can go through 300 years of history and look for all the black people that fit the description you just said. They never make it.
Yeah, which is why I believe that they should stop trying to make it. I really do believe that, it's each one reach one, teach one, but the leadership is in yourself. Like all of us are capable, well, not all of us, but many of us are capable of being a leader. Like instead of sitting around just waiting on one person to be that leader, how about...
Well said. Well said. But in real time, being the leader of yourself gets you nothing. The people demand to be led, regardless. There's not 13 shepherds and all these sheep. Why? Because it's unnecessary. Just one. Just one that has the connection with the sheep, which allows the sheep who has a brain about that small to be able to just focus on eating grass and not worry about falling off a cliff. We have the desire as humans to be led. We want to be led into battle. We want to be led into the football game. This is all because this is how we are wired. The cheerleaders and the pomp and circumstance, that goes back to the times of first humanity, because we do need that.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about a myriad of leaders. You're not just talking about a single individual.
Right.
And I see a lot of people just be sitting back waiting on a Messiah. They're waiting on that one person.
But they are too, though.
Who's that?
The other side is far more diligent about looking for that Messiah than we are, because they know where to look. You probably wonder, why do white people pay so much attention to black people if they don't like them? You would think if you didn't like something, why would you be paying attention to it? I don't pay attention to things I don't like.
What's the answer?
The answer is the liar knows what lie he told. You see what I'm saying? So even if I made it deceitful and I made you think that the answer is over here, but the answer is really over here, I'm still going to be looking over here. Me, the one that tricked, because I know this is the right answer. Black people have lost their identity, but our oppressors have not lost our identity. That's just why they chopped those noses off of the Pharaoh and the Sphinx in Egypt in the first place, is because without this nose, we can tell you this is whoever it is. But with that nigga nose, it can only be niggas. Why would somebody vandalize a whole face and only vandalize one part? Nobody wanted to knock an eye off or take an ear off or no chins missing. No, just the nose.
Do you understand what he's talking about?
Because it's a brand. It's a brand. All right, go ahead.
You have an uncanny way of thinking outside the box. You are very...
He has a growth mindset.
Good at breaking things down like you just did. You understand consequences and repercussions very well.
Okay.
So My question to you is, why?
And see, okay, let me just share this. You may not have caught this. What Willie D, and I don't think he even did it consciously. Okay. Mm-hmm. A lot of times when people are trying to have you to substantiate something that they believe already, they'll set you up by patting you on the back and by telling you how good you are and what you are and this, that, and the other, because it primes the mind to fit in with what they're asking. He's telling Katt, you're good at doing this and you're good at doing that, you're good at this and you're good at that. As if though Katt doesn't already know, for one. For two, if Katt doesn't believe necessarily what he's saying or what he's getting ready to say about himself, he's hard pressed and he'll try to fit into that thing in order to answer it in a way that frames and substantiates the compliment that he just gave. What people will do at times, they'll have you set your chin up just a little bit so they can jab you real quick, from a physical perspective and from a figurative perspective. So watch those who come to you trying to butter you up with sweet words. Mm-hmm. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Why are you such a habitual line stepper? Why do you cross that line so often when you know what the repercussions and consequences are going to be? And they're not going to be favorable to you. For example,
right.
I saw where you and Suge got arrested, right? You and Suge got arrested. Is that true?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Like, and
what were we doing?
Allegedly it had something to do with like some type of photography, a camera or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm just sure. I'm just saying this is what I read.
I'll tell you the story, and
okay.
you tell me. Then does that change how you frame this?
Okay.
So.
I love it. Did you?
We have a meeting to frame this.
Okay.
So. Tell me. Then does that change how you frame this?
Okay.
So. We have a meeting with a hologram company, which is going to go into a licensing deal on some holograms. This is in Beverly Hills. So now there's a rodeo, and behind that is an alleyway where you park your vehicles. Mm-hmm. That's where we are. Suge has brought his son with him who's 5 years old. And before we go into this meeting, Suge's son runs behind the dumpster and urinates. And a lady films his penis out, peeing behind the dumpster. And then says, oh, I thought that was Katt's kid. So yeah, that's what happens.
See, man, this is
so understand, we were facing 20 years, Suge and I. 20 years for that. And if it wasn't for the fact that this is Beverly Hills and it's all on camera, they had no problem sending us up the river when we couldn't have possibly done what was being said. That lady said that she got jumped on by me.
So you see what you just did? You just clarified a huge, misconception about, the events of that evening or whatever.
Yeah, but remember, it went to court. Yeah. Like, this isn't just my word. They had to play the video in court, which showed that her altercation wasn't with a man at all.
But the trip part about it is that when people print it, when the media, mainstream media put it out there, they don't add that piece. They just say,
nor do they make a retraction.
Right.
Nor do they say, hey, that thing we told you about that guy, turns out it was nothing. Understand.
Yeah, that is true.
I got 15 cases that were dismissed. That should be talked about. Why would 15 cases be dismissed? Because you were so sure you had what you were looking at. Because every city I go to, I'm the nigga with the best car. It's probably smoke coming out that car. It's probably girls gathering around that car. I look like the plug. I get it. And you've probably already hurt me by the time you find out who I actually am.
Right. See, because of that clarity you just provided,
Yes.
is the reason why I want to know. I think the world want to know what happened between you and Ali Sadiq. I know you said
The
you didn't want
world
to talk
couldn't
about it.
possibly want to know
wanna
that.
know,
He's
man.
not
We wanna-
famous enough for the world to want to know that.
At least
Because
I don't know.
Huh?
I say yeah, because I don't know him.
Ali Sadiq he's a comedian. He's based out of Houston. Bald head dude. He spent some time in jail, and he gets out and he tells these incredible stories. He talks about, you may have heard.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Mexican guy in boots. That's
Yeah, I know
Ali Sadiq. I've seen Ali Sadiq in person. Took some pictures with him. He's a thinker. He's a thinker.
Yeah.
He's gone through a whole lot too, being in prison and all of that. Ali Sadiq is the truth though. To hear that dude talk, he sat down and gave
He be giving them jail jokes.
Yeah, he talked about that. Yeah, and he tells his story about this guy. It was a jailer, and the jailer had did some dirty stuff to him. He made him get undressed in front of people. Mitchell, that was the dude's name, Mitchell.
Oh yeah.
He tells the story, but the thing about it is that he's telling the story, and it's really the story. But because he's telling it, it comes across as funny, and people laugh. But if you watch the faces in that crowd, they really don't know how to respond. It's a chilling story.
Yeah, I know what it is.
I'm like, but yeah.
My side of the world doesn't want to know.
Extremely intelligent.
See,
Well, my side of the world.
here's the thing.
What happened, man?
A lot of times, what
And see, if you're gonna be messy, just be messy. If Willie D gonna act with I'm nosy. I want to know what happened between you and Ali Sadiq.
Like
Say that.
The world wants to know.
But you saw how he said all of that.
That's what interviewers do.
Just
that's
man,
their job.
It doesn't have to be.
I'm just saying.
Just ask what you really want to know. Cut all the fluff, and let the person who's going through it explain it. If they
That's
choose
why he
to.
said the world don't want to know.
Right,
Yeah.
and I love how he does that. That's extreme clarity. Because a lot of he's right. A lot of folk don't necessarily know who Ali Sadiq is. Ali Sadiq does a whole lot of stuff in Houston and the Texas area, but he doesn't. He's gotten some pub elsewhere. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody sitting up here asking him about that. And he's right to call him out on that. He said basically, bro, it ain't the world that's trying to find. You want to find that out.
Yeah.
Feel me?
liars do first is they set up a narrative and a scenario. Like Michael Blackson just got on national TV and told people, yeah, I got a beef with Katt Williams, and Katt is mad at me about this, and because I said this, and I didn't even mean it like that. And the whole time, he's never talked to me. That's how he feels. He's heard I'm angry. I've not had a conversation with him. It's the same with your Ali Sadiq. If it wasn't for the information that I know in my intel, I would be a fan of his like everybody else. Who wouldn't be a fan of a young black storyteller that's done time and loves his family and is a hometown guy? Like, why would he ever have any enemies in comedy? It's ludicrous. But if you pick the actual king, then make sure that your story's correct. And unfortunately, his story's not correct. No matter what he says, he never met me. He made it disrespectful that a security guard that was 6'7" reached over him to pay him, not mentioning the fact that he got paid for not doing anything.
Well, let's start at the beginning of the Reliant thing.
I don't know if I wanna.
I'm
Go
gonna start,
ahead.
and then you can do what you want to do.
Fair enough.
But I think for the sake of the audience knowing, just
Tell
having
them who
an
Ali
idea of
Sadiq
what we're
is
talking
first.
about. Ali Sadiq is a comedian from Houston that's based in Houston.
A very fine comedian.
Very fine comedian.
Yes.
Now, Ali said that he went to Reliant arena and he was on the same show as you. He showed up, and the security stopped him from entering the building. And they said, and then somebody told him Katt didn't want you to come in. And then at some point, somebody else came and gave him a check. That's another security person reached over somebody's shoulder and gave him a check. He said that the people that were the working security locked arms to prevent him from walking inside of the building. And he thought that, you had a problem with him. And he said he didn't know why you had a problem with him. And to this day, he don't know why you have a problem with him. That was the.
It'd be nice if that was the story. So now, if that's the story, then let me see if I got this correct. A guy I've never met was supposed to be doing a show with me. And I got so angry, even though I hadn't met him, that I had security keep him out of the building. See, that's the problem with lies. They're faulty from their inception, sir. I'm the person in the story that doesn't have a grudge to feel. I don't care why I didn't like Katt Williams. I would get to the bottom of it. This is not one of those stories. First of all, the actual truth of this matter is, every city that I go to, I already have the comedians who are opening up for me. Not just this tour, but for the 17 100-city tours previous to this. I never go to the city and go, hey, do you guys have some comics here? I'd like to add them to my show. I just don't do it. I travel with the comedians that are coming to your city. We're one unit and one team when we come. That is to let you understand that no comic was fin to come join us that evening because there isn't space for it. I still have to do an hour at the end of this. There's a limited amount of time. So we could just start there. Second of all, I don't care where you're from, what the venue is, how cool you are with the people that work there. Katt Williams show means Katt Williams show. That means don't nothing move but the money. There ain't no loud talking and voice raising and, how dare you? How dare you? Let me look on the advertisements and see, do I see your name or face, sir, whoever you may be? Where would you even get the entitlement to be having this question? This is like me insisting that the Lakers put me on as a starter. And I won't take no for an answer. It's ridiculous. You don't even play in our league. And that's before I knew who you were. Now that I know who you are, I'm just ashamed because you took something personal that couldn't have been personal. I didn't meet you. That's how it would have gone if I wasn't there, because the truth is, I wasn't there. All of this happened before I got there.
What happened with the check? When the security guy gave him the check?
When I asked what the person had said, I said, well, I don't understand. I don't understand why he's so angry. What did he say to you? He said, I'm supposed to be on this show. I said, well, maybe he was expecting to get some sort of a payment. And now he thinks he doesn't get to get paid because we already have a tour. I wouldn't want that. Pay him for performing. So he got the check of the performer. This is what he's angry about. Imagine the audacity. Remember, your story is that I'm kicking you the fuck out. Get out and lock arms and don't let him in. And paying you? Make it make sense, King. So, either you're smaller than I think or I'm bigger. Either one. Like, you can't keep positioning the narrative because that's all this is. This is so that in a conversation in America, there'll be something where he and I are evenly linked. And only people in his hometown are floating that narrative. I'm really him.
You don't believe that there's, under any circumstances, that you and Ali can come to a resolution, just be cool. Like,
You've just talked to me. You know I don't have a bone in this.
yeah.
I don't have a bone in this.
So I got him on the phone. You talk to him.
Now, why do you think Willie D is advocating for?
It's probably his friend.
You know where Willie D is from?
Houston.
I don't know if he's okay. I'm not gonna say that Willie D is from Houston, but I know Willie D has a whole lot of Houston ties because of the Ghetto Boys. Their Fifth Ward. That's one thing that they holler about. Fifth Ward is a spot that's in Houston.
We beat them boys up Fifth Ward.
Right. Remember the stepping and stuff. So
Real life.
I would have gave him the celebrity boxing match he asked for if I thought he was a celebrity.
Oh, come on, man. You know Ali is a celebrity. Come on,
Sir,
Katt.
I'm not talking.
Katt.
I didn't mean that disparagingly.
Yeah.
I meant that in ticket sales, my nigga. Ticket sales. That's what I meant. I mean, I'm doing 7,000 in your hometown while you go do 300. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm talking statistics. I'm talking about the biggest and baddest thing going. And you, a person trying to get in, why would you be mad? It's ridiculous. I'm offended. I'm offended. Why? Because even if it's celebrity boxing, I need you to sell tickets too. I need you to sell these pay-per-view numbers, my nigga. I know I'm bringing it. It's more people that want to see me get laid out by you. And the fact that an upstanding and righteous gentleman like yourself is in that position with the only thing trying to be righteous in our lane is just more machinations of the devil. You should have a much better backstory when you pick me as an opponent.
You know what, man? I'm glad you at least
Chappelle,
addressed it. Because
when you talk to him and tell him what the truth is, he won't be able to refute it. I told you earlier, he doesn't know this. How could he know? It's okay for you to think that I'm that way, but there are 30,000 known comedians in America that you could have went to, and they would have told you, this is against my character. I am known for confronting my issue head up, be it Satan or his affiliates. I don't care if you 6'6". I don't care if it's 5 of you. I don't care if I'm guaranteed an L. I don't care if you put a gun in my face. I don't care about none of that. I care about doing the right thing as I see it in that moment. Yeah.
Man, how did you get on in the first place as far as like with the movie thing? Like, I know I'm skipping over the comedy, but how did you get on with the movie thing? Like, specifically, I want to know about Money Mike. I want to know how you got that role.
Right. So here's the whole thing.
He messy.
Slick
You think he being messy?
Slick as sandpaper.
You think he being messy?
I think he's slick as sandpaper.
Liars always come up with terrible lies. So Ricky Smiley says, Katt was supposed to play the Santa Claus and I was supposed to play the pimp. Liars always have ridiculous narratives. Nobody in America can imagine that a real movie studio would cast 5'5", 145-pound Katt Williams as a fucking Santa Claus, number one. Number two, Ricky Smiley was finna play a pimp. Really? Ricky Smiley has played a woman more times than Ricky Smiley has played a man. He's played Bernice Jenkins 5 times. I got it in my contract that I don't work with Ricky Smiley unless he's playing Miss Bernice Jenkins.
Get out of here, man. That's in your contract for real?
I make my contracts, sir.
And he knows that that's been said already. So for real, man, stop it.
When you're the master of your masters, everything else is subservient.
Of your masters.
That's why we have control. That's why we're hated, because there's something to hate. But anyway, so Money Mike, this is my first audition not just my first movie. It's my first audition. The reason it was so great is because they allowed me to do what I wanted to do, and I needed to do things. So I needed to pick the wardrobe for the character. So Money Mike's wardrobe was impeccable because I designed it, and they made it so. I picked out the car, the color of the car. They had a guy playing a pimp. I need this to be an actual pimp. We need Bishop Magic Don Juan. Everything I had to do, me and KD Albert, who played Donna, and Terry Crews, it was all of our first project, and my job was to make sure that we came off as if we were seasoned actors. And so I put everything I had into that movie, to the point where in the script, Money Mike is raped in the bathroom. Katt Williams changed that. Why? Because it's no way. What do you mean, Katt? There's no way. What are you saying? I'm saying in a place that small, I'm not rapeable. I don't care what has to happen. That's what will happen. And so that's how it changed and became a great movie. And just the thought process that maybe Ricky Smiley was going to do that, it is laughable. But yeah, that was going to be my only movie. So I had to do everything that I could do to make sure that it went the way I needed it to. And I've done that in every one of the 60 movie roles that I've done, and the 50 network television roles.
Man, I'm glad you stood on that, man, because it's a lot of people who would not have. People get blinded by that bread, man, or that opportunity. And
Right.
for you to stand on that says a lot. Because I know Terry Crews would have probably enjoyed it, in real life.
Oh,
See,
bless
that-
his heart.
yeah,
Bless
see.
his heart.
That is so foul.
Now,
what did he wrong
how
for that?
did you
He know he wrong
how
for
did
that.
you get this knack for comedy in the first place? Like you had a pretty tumultuous childhood. Like, how do you pivot from that and get into comedy?
I didn't find it to be tumultuous.
So at the time, you was living it. You like you
Yeah,
could see it.
yeah,
like
this is
that.
not tumultuous.
Okay.
But your question was, how did I?
How did you find comedy?
A lot of times you have the true appreciation for something when you're not trying to do it. You just like it. So that's the relationship that I had with music, and it was the relationship that I had with comedy. So musically, I could listen to Pearl Jam and the Ghetto Boys. Like, I could listen to 9 Inch Nails, and I could listen to Prince, and I could do that. And comedically, I found that I could do that too. It didn't matter what the comedy person looked like, or how they were built, or where they were from. If they were funny, I was going to be able to tell. So I understood that Don Knotts was out there working his ass off as Barney Fife. I understood he wasn't doing the same job as the rest of them. I understood that laughter is an emotion, and anytime you can tap an emotion, that's very powerful, regardless of what emotion
I
you're
never
tapping.
looked at it like that.
When you're tapping
Wait,
these
look at like what?
Laughter as an emotion.
Well, laughter. Okay, technically speaking, laughter in and of itself is not an emotion. However, what he's touching on is still along the lines of emotional intelligence. Have you ever asked yourself what is an emotion? Why do we even have emotions? Emotions are basically auto responses that we've learned with how we need to make it in life. The root word for emotions is a Latin word, motive, and it means to move. The prefix e on the front of it, it also means to move. So it's implied that in the word emotion that there's going to be that there's inherent some type of movement away or movement toward. The e is a move toward, or I mean move away. But nevertheless, there is a moving away when you have emotions. So when you're emotional about something, more than likely you're going to respond. You're going to get up like on here. When something happens that I love, I get into it. I can't help. Those are emotional. Those are emotions that's coming out. We've been taught emotions from a natural perspective and vantage point. What makes you dope is that when you understand emotions and you don't let the emotions control you, you control how you respond in spite of the emotion. That is emotional intelligence.
Emotions. Before you deliver the joke, are you cognizant of what it's going to take to deliver that joke? Like, are you already knowing that I know for a fact I don't have to practice this? They're going to be with this right here. When I say this, I'm going to get them.
As a comedian,
Just say
I
yes.
have the best fan base in the world, documented.
You do.
The slight amount of advertisement that they allow me to do, and the fact that in a place as glorious as Houston, they pack the arena to the rafters, is based upon the fact that I, in 1995, started a conversation with a fan base which was maybe 5 people. And through this entire time, I've kept up the same conversation with the same people as they grow. And
Yeah, dog. I love that.
I'm letting you see me win. I'm letting you see me lose. I'm never allowing the product to be affected by what's going on because this
Focus.
is
That's
the
vision.
greatest relationship here. So,
I love that.
consequently, bam, they know some things when I come to town. They know I'm finna bring the baddest comedians with me. That's who's gonna be opening up. They know this all over the country. And then they know that whatever it is Katt's gonna talk about for an hour, they know he did not talk about this the last time he was here. They know
Man,
that.
how in the hell do comedians get away with that anyway? Because I'm not going to see the same comedian tell the same jokes, 100 times in a row.
You
Like,
let
some of these guys are
let a
still-
rapper rap the same songs though. And you let a singer sing the same songs, the classics, and you'll allow that. And so
Yeah, but
Get 'em,
funny
Katt.
is supposed to be spontaneous. So that's the difference.
No.
Well, understand that comedy has its roots long before social media. So before
No.
social media, you might have heard that this comedian is funny, right? And somebody might have told you what he said, but it didn't sound that funny to you. They just told you what he said. But when you see him in person, he's hilarious. And so comedy always had a cycle where you showed the whole circuit your body of work. It's just comedians had gotten so lazy that they were doing one great set that they had on Comic View or Def Jam, and they were touring that for 15 years without changing it. And so we made it a part of our effort to push the fact that you should be writing new material and shaming the community into it by just, I'm going to keep putting out these specials and it's new material. How long are you going to continue to tell these jokes? Because in a minute, the audience is going to be like, no, they got to say something new. And eventually the audience did do that. And
But-
so
Well, some audiences show up and they want you to say the old joke. They demand that you tell the
So
whole
you just
joke.
contradict.
I don't have not one of those people in my fan base because they know better. They know that I would never let you pay me so you can hear some shit I already said. I respect you too much for that. What you gonna get from me is brand new. This is new.
Right now you have 12 comedy specials.
Okay.
Is there a magic number in mind, or you just want to just keep running to make sure you got the all-time number and that's secure? Are you already at the top? You got you got more.
I'm
than
in
anybody?
I'm in no way counting numbers.
You've done.
I'm saying if 12 is the most, if 12 was the most, there's not a number because I'm not putting a number to it. But I've been special that many times for an hour.
17 tours, 100 cities. That is a lot of work. That's enough work for a few lifetimes. Most comedians won't even get 100 cities. Well, most comedians ain't gonna do that one time.
You see,
And how do you continue to come up with this new material? Because you do new material every single time you show up. That's crazy.
It's a new show every single time I show up.
Man, that is crazy. I'm a comedy connoisseur. I follow comedy. Most of the comics that are the top dogs right now, as far as like in some of our heroes in comedy, I was there when they were like working on their first jokes.
Yeah.
I was watching them and supporting them way back then. But that is a tough feat to be able to do something like that. And I think that the reason why...
Not in 24 years.
Yeah. I think the reason why people like you is so much, what you do is you resonate with them so much is like what you just said. You show them the good and the bad side of you.
Katt just explained what his draw is. He just did. Well, never mind.
But also you're talented. You're very talented, but at the same time you do show the good and the bad. And it's something appealing about being transparent to an extent.
Oh, not just to an extent, to the utmost. As soon as you, as a person, decide that you're not gonna lie anymore, and that whatever problem that you have, you're gonna deal with that problem right then where it presents itself, it'll show you a whole new side of you. It's very important. It's very important when you lie and allow lies. For some people, it's just, I'm just a little delusional. No, it's dangerous for you to do that to yourself. It's very unnecessary for you to.
You was on this radio station in Atlanta, and this host made a joke about you, and you killed a man for.
Didn't we just hear that?
Yeah.
Why are you? Well,
I don't know how long that was, but man, I was like, time out, call the police, something, stop this slaughter, man. You was like, you really did a bad, and you didn't. I don't think you cursed one time.
I was just going to say, be very careful when you say how badly I did her, because I never called her out of her name.
But that's what I'm saying.
I was very composed.
That's my point.
But let me explain it. Let me give you the exclusive.
No, let me make the point.
Okay.
You're one of the few only you and Bruce I've ever seen do that before. Destroy a heckler or someone that was challenging you or whatever. Mm-hmm. Destroy them for several minutes. Bruce killed this chick for about, I don't know, man, about 25, 30 minutes one night in Houston. And I never seen anybody else do that but you, like 25,
Bruce
I mean, just
is-
back to back, gut busting, like same person,
right.
no cuss words.
Yeah.
I had never seen that before, so how were you able to maintain your composure for that long?
Well, a very interesting thing happens when you try to trap something that's bigger than your trap. So imagine you set out a trap for a turtle and a rhinoceros steps into it. It's finna be a whole different situation now. So this lady behind the scenes is begging me to come into this interview that I've not scheduled, that I don't want to do, that I'm not dressed for, that nobody's called me about. She just wants it. To the point where she says, Katt, come on, you just want an Emmy for the city. I just want to give you your flowers. Well, I won't talk about kids. I won't talk about no jail. I won't talk about... This is the conversation she has with me, and then goes in that room and doesn't mention the Emmy and immediately begins to... Because this is a comedian. You're trying to undermine me. Atlanta is a heavily
You probably don't want to talk
LGBTQ
about
plus
sizes.
positive city. And the fact that you having a heavy gay fan base would try to degrade me, a heterosexual, by making it seem like I'm gay.
He said, you can't keep your blood pressure down. You can't calm me down. Wherever he told that lady, he said, if you can't keep your blood pressure down, you can't calm me down. Something like that. That miss was...
I didn't hear that.
Go watch that. The Wanda... Ain't that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, go watch that. That miss
Gay
was
people
funny.
don't feel that way about me. Why would you? So it was a terrible thing that she found herself in. And
Or
comedically,
cholesterol, I think that's what he said.
you're outmatched. My defense is impenetrable. My offense will have the precise amount of viciousness that's necessary. If that means no cussing, that's fine. I don't want to talk to you and hurt heavy-set women's feelings or dark-skinned women's feelings or women who wear wigs' feelings. I'm not trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm bantering with you because you keep acting like you're qualified to do that. Yeah. So, it was a setup. I'm always going to be prevail if I'm being set up.
You think Buddy was in on it, her co-host? You think he was in on that? He didn't appear to be in on it.
No, because here's the whole thing.
laughing.
He kept trying to get
He was trying to kill
her to pull the plug on this, and she kept not.
I heard her husband wanted to fight him.
She didn't understand even after we cut. She didn't understand what had happened. She still thought that she had been victorious, and yeah.
And then she tried to play the victim.
No, she played the victim. Her husband was willing to kill one of the greatest comedians to... Yeah, I'm saying... And remember, all of this has to happen. I have to allow it to happen. I have to also preserve my life. And then, after I do all of that, then I have to not press charges on you to these police as if a crime has not been committed upon me.
A pimp named Slickback. Ah, man.
Thank you for saying the whole thing.
Look, man.
Like a Tribe Called
Yeah, you got to say the
Quest.
whole thing. You got to say the whole thing.
That is correct.
A pimp named Slickback.
Yes.
Man, that is one of the most iconic roles in television history. How did that come about?
Dumb people love dumb people, and geniuses try to find people that are on their mental platitude. So Aaron Magruder is one of the finest black writers that
Absolutely.
we've had.
Yes.
And the fact that he started his journey in the real trenches, writing for newspapers and getting syndicated across the country before he ever came to the next platform is what made him so formidable. So it was a joy to be able to work with him. Just like, when I do work with Donald Glover, we get the Emmy. Like, it's because you're dealing with compatible wavelengths. Like Donald Glover told me, Katt, here's a script. If you do this role right, you'll win an Emmy for it. I said, that's the only way I know to do it is right. And won the Emmy.
Well, I know there's a lot of advantages to doing what you do, being in the entertainment industry, but what's like the biggest thing that you can't stand about this industry?
Now that's a good question. I like that.
Nothing. I like it.
Shit, I don't know who you think you're talking to.
I like it.
Now you now let's.
I love my op as myself.
Yeah.
I think it's great. On our side of things, it's flourishing. It's never been better. All the people on our side are seeing that prayers do work and that you really have control of your mind more than you think you do. And if you could somehow possibly stop thinking the way you do and think another way, it might help you. And you'll know right away if it does. That's the benefit, is each one of these days you're getting could really be the one.
What's one of the wildest things that has happened to you or you've seen happen in your time in this entertainment space?
Yeah, sorry, Vlad. I ain't seen nothing. I collect the footage, but I haven't seen anything.
Why you call him Vlad? Vlad TV?
Yeah.
You were doing so good, man. I mean, you was just doing so good, and then all of a sudden you just decided.
Well, no, here's the thing. What you asked was, you said, hey, Wolf, what do you hate about the sheep? Nothing. Nothing. I feel good. I feel like we're in a good position. Everything's going to be fine. Let's go, Coach Prime.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think about
We
Coach
coming.
Prime? What's up with Coach Prime? You have you been out there yet, Colorado?
No, but I've supported from afar.
Yeah.
I'm saying, anytime
Shout out to Mathis,
a
who
great
plays for Coach
individual,
Prime.
regardless of what
Caleb
he does,
Mathis.
finds something that
13.
he can be great in, like, that's gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is a motivating factor and an asset to it. He always has been since the Jerry Curl days. Those are the leaders of men that we discussed earlier. An eternal optimist, someone that's clever and about books and hard work and discipline. As a black person, we should be so lucky as to have, a black coach like that. And as a non-black what a great job.
Man, you just described yourself, except the coach part. And then I take that back. You are a coach in your own right.
And you as
Yeah.
well. That's the whole thing. Like, these compliments are all shared by all of us who receive them. Like, that's what it's got to be. If you any reflection of me, then that's what it is. That's why in the good book it say, made in God's image. It don't mean you're always going to do that, but it means there's the possibility that you could mirror that.
Yeah. Do you have adopted children?
I'm an empty nester. I have no children at this point. Glory and hallelujah. No, everybody's grown. Yeah, but yeah, I got grandbabies.
You got grandbabies. Okay.
Yeah.
How many?
4,
4. Nice.
all girls.
Oh yeah.
See, that's how you know he's been doing something right.
What are the ages?
Of what?
The girls.
The grandbabies?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a 6, 2 4s, 11 months, and 2.
That's 5.
Yeah. I realized it as you said it. I didn't know how to change the story. Okay, so I got 5 grandkids.
Wait, what do they call you?
I got 5 daughters. I can't get anybody to call me anything that I ask for. They've already made a decision, and that's what they call me. There's nothing I can do about it, and I'm not gonna say what it is. It sounds like stop or something. I don't know.
Right. Well, man, we appreciate you coming on the show, man.
I
really
appreciate
do,
you
man.
having me. You're an
yeah.
icon and a legend yourself, and just the fact that you would spend time interviewing others is magnificent. And nobody asks worse questions. You have the worst questions in all of interviewing, and you can count on it. Nobody's gonna mimic your questions. So yeah, it's an honor. Thank you.
I appreciate you, man. Ladies and gentlemen.
Was that a slug?
Honorable Katt Williams.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No more talk.
Was that low-key a slug?
I don't know, but it's true. But at the same time, Willie D still he is an icon. He's not somebody that you can just dismiss. That he has paid dues. He's been controversial because he's stuck true to what he believes, whether it be right or wrong. So Willie D in his own right, you know, him and Scarface, they butt heads, and they were in the same rap group for years. He didn't like Bushwick Bill, and they were in the same rap group. Legends. But Willie D's gonna keep it 100, even if that 100 ain't worth 100. But yeah, much respect though.
That was the end of the video. Into the rap for the game PC. Y'all be safe, gang. Peace.